To the Financial Armor Show. My name is Brad Cooper, the host and president of Cooper Financial Investments. And as always, I want to welcome my amazing, awesome co-host, Tony Shore. How's it going, Tony?
It's going really good, Brad. I'm excited about the show today. We were talking a little bit before the show about football. And of course, that's a popular topic for me as a Minnesota Vikings fan, being one of the only two undefeated teams remaining in the NFL so far this season. So we're
And
doing
me
good.
as well, originally being from Missouri, and the Kansas City Chiefs being the number one team and still undefeated. And by the way, how many Super Bowls now? 10, 15 they won already?
Well, and I know, but you're also an Arizona fan, but we
am.
won't talk about that right now, right?
No, so it's fun, over the weekends watching. I mean, you can switch channels and go from football to baseball to basketball.
Every single sport except every professional sport is currently playing except I think football or hockey. Hockey hasn't started yet.
All right.
But it will soon.
I know. Well, good.
Yeah. So we have a great show lined up, and I'm excited. I had a great weekend, kept busy. How about you, though, Brad? How have you been doing?
Doing great, Tony. We're just really keeping busy. A lot of people that permanently live here in Arizona, they're coming back to town from escaping the heat. Believe it or not, I just look at the forecast this upcoming weekend. The high is in the 70s. And just last weekend, I think it was 112. So we're all excited.
It's crazy.
About the cooler, in addition to that, Tony, of the presidential election and politics, because we're a couple weeks away now, maybe 2.5 weeks away from the election. So I can't wait till it's over. I'm tired of seeing all the commercials.
You and me both. And I'm tired of getting texts from the campaigns and seeing all the commercials.
Just out of curiosity, there's a do not call list. And if you hit stop, reply stop, or tell them not to call, I don't think this impacts them at all. The texts just keep on coming. And in addition to, it's so bad, Tony, that the IRS calls I get saying if I don't pay them $1 million by the end of the day, I'm going to jail. They're outnumbering those types of scam calls.
Yeah, I don't know which is more of a scam call: the political,
you're right.
the political text asking for money, or the scam calls that say they're the IRS. I don't know. I don't think either one is too legitimate. I don't think your money's going to a good purpose either way. I think it's all kind of a scam. So
it is.
Yeah. It's that season though. But I think you're right, Brad. Everybody out there, I don't think there are any of us who wouldn't agree. Can't wait for this election to be over with. Right. Yes. I just want it over with.
And we talked a lot about that when I was up in Minnesota a couple of weeks ago with our money managers and their analysts from Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, JP Morgan, and many other experts. And we had a lot of conversation about the political arena and the impact it has on the stock market. And what they have told us the last several years is, of course, the president is not the main reason why Wall Street will go up or down. They're more concerned with who controls the House and the Senate. And I just shared this in my meeting just not too long ago with some clients, that if there's a split among the House and the Senate, Democrat, Republican, Wall Street does extremely well, and they're excited because they know nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to change. Gridlock is good for the market.
That's right. So time will tell. And our philosophy, because as we're preparing, because, we don't know what the future brings. I am, along with our managers and analysts, optimistic for the next 5 to 6 years. However, our philosophy has not changed in the last 30 years. We're hoping for the best. but
Right.
also we're preparing and planning for the worst.
Right.
So our clients, especially over the next several years, won't be, surprised with a correction and a portfolio loss of 20, 30, 40% just because of the style of management and planning we do for our clients.
Yeah, and I think that that's true. And you said you wanted to talk about financial fears. What are the top financial fears people have regarding their finances or their
Right.
retirement savings and money in retirement? So this plays right into that. I mean, I think
Yeah.
this year's election is one of the big fears people have for their finances. They think, oh, if my guy doesn't get in, or my gal, if my person, my political candidate doesn't win the presidency and my party isn't in power, then the stock markets, the economy is going to tank and I should pull my money out. But the stock market and the economy have thrived under Republican and Democrats in the
Right.
past. And usually, like this year, so far, it's an up year, and this is an election year. So we will see. Election years are usually up. I know 20 of the
Right.
last 24
Correct.
presidential election years have been positive years and good years in the market, and that's over the last almost 100 years. So that's saying something. So people shouldn't panic about that or fear that. But there are some legitimate fears that people do have, aren't there? And where do you want to begin with this?
Just to add to that, this is the fourth year in a row I've attended the type of meeting that up in Minnesota I was at, which is one of my favorite meetings because we're hearing from the smartest and best people in the world, in my
Yeah, Charles
opinion.
Schwab,
Oh,
BlackRock. Yeah,
I mean, they have a pretty good pulse. They're not perfect. They don't have a crystal ball, but they've been spot on for many years. But
they have a
here's
good
the
track record.
right. Here's the advice, the primary advice they have given us advisors to take, but also to pass on to our clients. This is 4 years in a row. You know what that is?
What's that? Don't panic.
Well, that ties into panicking. Turn off your TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Turn off the news. These money managers and analysts they're on TV every day. And they basically said what the networks, all the networks, I don't care who you love and who you hate, all
Hmm.
the networks want to paint a picture of fear because fear makes money. Turn off the TVs. And then one analyst who has been on a particular TV station, which I won't mention, it's pretty popular when it comes to business. They have a lot of paid people come on and to paint that picture of fear. They said, if you really want to know what to do and you're very confused, whatever they tell you to do the opposite and you will be successful.
Isn't that
So,
amazing? I mean, yeah, it's that's the problem if you get too wrapped up in the media. If you
yes,
watch the business news or these 24-hour news channels, any of them, whether you feel, it's a right wing or a left wing channel, they're all saying the sky is falling most of the time.
you're right.
Everything is urgent, everything is a crisis, everything's breaking news, and you can really get caught up in that, and you can think, wow, this is unprecedented, everything's unprecedented, everything's terrible.
Oh,
And you're right, turn off the TV or do the opposite. I get a kick out of one of the more popular shows on stocks, the guy, and we all know him, loud and obnoxious and funny. And I get a kick out of, I mean, it's more for entertainment because if you actually look
yes,
at his advice, it's like more times than not, he's dead wrong.
right.
Like, I mean, so it is so funny. And, you can get on there and pontificate. And if it's a 24/7 news channel, a stopped clock is right twice a day, right? That's what they used to say. Of course, with digital clocks, that phrase
That's
probably
right.
doesn't mean a lot to the younger people. What does
Right.
that mean? But if your digital watch froze on a certain time and it just had that frozen on the screen, it would still be right twice a day, is what I'm
That's
saying.
right.
And so when they are right, then they just bank on that mileage until they're right again. They'll just be wrong until they're right again. And
Wow.
yeah, you can get caught up in all that. But that's right. That is a fear because of the media. And you can't let the fear mongering affect you, because that's how they
Wow.
sell ads, right?
So what I'm excited, Tony, to share is, I compiled a list which of common fears, if you will, concerns, whether you're entering retirement or you're in retirement. And these are conversations and topics which we're going to address quickly that we cover every single day with our clients in new appointments. And this is really the heartbeat of most Americans and the concerns that they have. Of course, number one is longevity risk. What does that mean? You know, the average person entering into retirement and giving up that paycheck on a monthly basis, their fear is running out of money before they die.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the number one concern, is running out of money before we pass. I don't want my money to run out before I do. Or as one great person put it, I don't want my blood pressure to go to zero, or my bank account to hit zero before my blood pressure does. Right?
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. That was our old buddy Tom Lowry. He's so
Tom
funny.
Lowry. Yes.
He's another great financial mind. He's retired now, but he told me,
Right.
Tony, I don't want my bank account to hit zero before my blood pressure does. Yeah.
Good sound advice. And what feeds into that and that concern is really the second concern and fear is healthcare costs. We're living longer
Yeah.
today. Life expectancy, of course, you can look at several different studies, but with the advancement of healthcare, here in Arizona, and I know in your backyard, we have the Mayo Clinic. And fortunately, unfortunately, we've been involved with that system for the last couple years, and just the quality of healthcare that we're seeing in our great United States of America today is allowing people to live longer. However,
Yeah. The Mayo Clinic's fantastic.
yes,
Yeah.
healthcare costs, rising medical expenses, long-term care cost that is probably right there at the top of the list as far as concerns.
Yeah.
Because I read an article, I think Fidelity put that out. There's been many studies and articles that the average nursing home cost today nationwide, of course, this is an average, is around 9 to 10,000 per month,
Yep. That's
which is
right.
a big amount of money. And I know, Tony, in past shows, we've talked about your parents, my parents, and so that's a big fear, and it should be. And I just had a speaking engagement last week in front of a good group of people, and most of them were retired. And I talked a lot about holistic financial planning, and what that concept is something that the majority of our industry is not doing. What's holistic financial planning? It's addressing every risk out there, especially the ones we're dealing with today, instead of just starting and stopping with the investment conversation. Here's where you should put your money next. Not talking about all the other risk that will impact you. So that's what keeps me going, Tony, day in and day out, keeps me after 30 years motivated to empower people with knowledge and wisdom. Because at the end of the day, people just don't know what they don't know. And there's so many sources to go to. Who do you trust? And I challenge you, come and talk to us. And after we get done with our visit, verify everything we talk about.
Yeah.
And you'll find that, there's a lot of other risk out there in addition to market risk that you should be concerned with.
Right. And that's why we're doing this show, is not to be like the media and just fear monger for fear
No.
mongering's sake, but to provide, there are solutions
Solution.
to protect your money against these things, like working with an advisor. Maximizing your Social Security is another way that you've talked about doing it. But you have to know about these concerns and how to address them. And what are some of the fears you're going to have to overcome financially and what are some of the issues that you're going to face, and understanding these issues and working with a professional like yourself to tackle them. That's the key. So we've talked about longevity risk,
Right.
healthcare costs. What's next?
Another risk is inflation. We've
Oh,
seen that the
of
last couple
course.
years,
Yeah.
from gasoline, which is going down, thank
Yep.
God, but groceries, how expensive they are.
Still crazy. Yeah.
Just everything's just outrageous. Real estate, vehicles,
Yep.
and the list goes on. So, just to add what you just said before I got into inflation is, yes, we're talking a lot about the concerns that you should have, but keep in mind, every concern, Tony, that we're talking about today and any show, we have solutions. I currently have a company that is an LLC. It's called Cooper Financial Solutions. And we're a solution based company in addition to a relationship based practice. But going back to inflation, yes, it's hopefully coming down
Yeah.
slowly but surely, which I believe it will. And but that should be a concern, especially what I see is on a daily basis as I'm meeting with people, their social security, their pensions if they get a pension, and their other streams of income, when inflation's high, does not keep up with that. So it's taking a lot more money out of their budget, out of their retirement portfolio on a monthly basis just to pay the same bills that they were paying 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, and you want to be able to keep up with inflation. And if you don't have inflation factored into a retirement income plan, I mean, a lot of our listeners may not have a retirement income plan in the first place. You need one. And then you need to make sure you're working with a financial professional who's going to calculate in inflation. He's not just going to say, oh, we're going to invest it here, here, and here. And we're not going to worry about longevity risk, healthcare costs, or inflation. That's what we're trying to point out here. And you're doing a great job of that, Brad. What's next?
Next on the list is market volatility, which,
Of course.
again, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, get a second opinion, get a third opinion on your portfolio. Tony, I would say 99% of new people I sit down with, especially age 65 to 75 years of age, when we talk about risk, when we talk about what risk they want to take, and we really identify and have that deep discussion, serious discussion, especially as a fiduciary, I am finding that 99% of the people I talk to, Tony, are taking way, way, way more risk than they should, but they don't know it. And
Yeah, they're not even aware that, oh,
they're
all my money is at risk and I'm retiring next year. You might want to move some of that into some more principal protected options, right?
right. And, no one's going to really notice that or really take a look at it while the markets are good.
Right.
When the market goes down, like in 2022, that's when, things really pop out. So market volatility, get a second, get a third opinion on the risk you're taking and learn more about, if you're not aware of, other strategies that are out there that would help further diversify your portfolio.
Yeah. Okay. What's another concern
Oh,
that we need to address,
well,
hopefully before we retire?
yes. I like to call this social insecurity, which is
Social insecurity.
social
Okay.
security. For the younger generation, it may be insecure, but
Right.
you know, for people getting ready to retire, social security, and you mentioned it earlier, is you know, social security planning, which we have a team of social security experts that help us through our clients. And one of the greatest reports and greatest resources we have, which we offer to everyone, especially if you haven't filed for Social Security, is a Social Security maximization report. There is what, 30,000, 40,000 different choices when
Yes.
it comes to Social Security. And guess where most people, Tony, go for advice?
To the Social Security or probably their neighbor or their
The neighbor
coworker.
first. Yes, that's the first. And the second's the Social Security office, which by federal law, and this just happened to one of my clients, they were in the Social Security office a couple of weeks ago and were asking for advice and taxation. And they said, I'm sorry, we can't give advice on Social Security or taxes.
Yeah.
So, again, work with a team of professionals that understand Social Security and
Right.
when the best option is to file. It's not black and white, and it's different for
Yeah.
every single person.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that Social Security maximization report you have, it's a personalized report for each individual based on where they're at, when they plan on retiring, what their full Social Security amount is, and full retirement age is of regarding Social Security, and a lot of factors, some longevity factors in there. And then it figures out, okay, here's your sweet spot. You're going to get more money if you wait until then,
Right.
or you need to take it now so you get more checks because of this. So it just depends on the situation. It's not going to be the same as your neighbors. It's not going to be the same as your brother.
Mhm.
Everybody has different circumstances. So you want to make sure you're doing it at the time that's right for you and your goals, right?
Absolutely. And take the time, be patient, work with the professionals that will give you that advice. Another area, and there's really two big topics I want to talk about before we run out of time. Uh, Taxes, of course. How many times, Tony, have we talked about taxes, future taxation? What's risk could that be on your portfolio, on your
Sure.
Social Security, on your pension? We do know this. All the tax cuts that Trump put into place back in 2017, 2018 are set to expire December 31st of 2025. So when we wake up January 1st of 2026, unless Congress intervenes, we're going to see taxes automatically go up. Here's the $1 million question. How high?
Yeah.
And that is a big fear from our meeting a couple weeks ago that everyone has.
Hmm.
Not short term because they believe Congress is going to kick that tax can down the road and ignore it for a few more years. But we're approaching, Tony. I just looked up the debt clock. And I think if you go to
Oh,
debtclock.org,
yep.
we're approaching $36 trillion.
Yeah.
36 trillion, and that's growing every single day. So Congress will be forced, Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, it doesn't matter. They're going to be forced to
Yeah.
increase taxes, number one, or the other option they have, which I'm not too confident this will happen, is reduce spending. Stop spending as much money. Right.
They're not going to reduce spending. In fact, I'm looking at the U.S. national debt clock right now, and it's going up faster than I can even see. It's just blurred numbers at the end there, but it's $35.7 trillion right now.
Wow.
And it is usdebtclock.org. So usdebtclock.org, and that's DEBT clock.org, USDEBT
Good.
clock.org.
Isn't there?
And that's some fascinating numbers, but they're scary. Again, that's another form of fear mongering. Don't look at
It
that too
is.
long.
No, don't.
Probably shouldn't have
So
given that that'll just scare you. I wish our politicians were paying more attention to it, though.
maybe they're not aware of it, Tony. Maybe we should send
Yeah.
that to our local senators and representatives. Um, but no, last topic I want to talk about, Tony, which we're seeing more and more every single day, and it's becoming a very serious issue, and that's called financial scams. There's these evil people, I call them, throughout the world. They're getting getting smarter, more wiser with how to get into people's accounts, talking to people, especially with AI, which keep in mind, AI is doing a lot of great things for our nation and for different industries, but they're using AI to disguise voices. And there's just a
Crazy.
list of scams. We're in the process, probably, I think, in February of 2025 here locally in Mesa. We're going to be bringing in a guest expert when it comes to financial scams and really offering a lot of education and resources to our clients and friends of our clients on this topic because that's probably going to be the number one area that we're going to see, in the future years, especially as we continue to age. And
Yeah.
as we get a little bit forgetful and they're getting better on the phone, never say never when it comes to being scammed. It can happen to the best.
Yeah. In fact, I was on Facebook the other day, Brad. I just have to share really quick this.
Yes.
Speaking of the deep fake, this just happened, and then I read an article about it that Tom Hanks had to come out and deny it. But I was flipping through Facebook, and you get the Facebook ads,
Right.
and an ad came up, and it was it said Tom Hanks talks about the latest development for people with diabetes. And I'm like, interesting. So I clicked on it or I watched it with the audio up, and it's a video of Tom Hanks taken with somebody's handheld camera of him speaking before a group, talking about this doctor and talking about how bad the diabetes medication that the doctors are prescribing now is for
Right.
you, and all the bad things it causes, and how there's a much better way, a more natural, a pill with a unique combination that this doctor and researchers discovered, and that you could order. And I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, this must be, it sounds legit. Tom Hanks is saying it,
Right.
right? I mean, he's if Tom Hanks says it, it's just
Hey,
like, wow, he's into it. I wonder if it's legit. And then I didn't do anything, but then I saw a couple days later that Tom Hanks says it's not a real video, it's a deep fake video that
wow.
the company's using of him. And
Unbelievable.
yeah, so not good.
I got a question. Was the cost of that $19.99 per month?
I think it was. I think it was 17.99 or 18.99,
But isn't
19.99.
that disturbing though? I
But it's a
mean,
monthly charge too, that it's a per
wow.
month, and then they don't tell you how much. Well, if you get this, it'll be the,
Yeah.
but they don't tell you what your total will be or the shipping. And I'm like, nope. I said, I'm not doing this.
No.
This seems fishy, even though they have a video. I go, this is really, I mean, it felt like a scam, but yet it had Tom Hanks saying how legitimate
Right.
it was, talking about this doctor holding up her book. I'm like, wow, this really looks legit. But then when I clicked on it, I'm like, oh no, this is not, this seems like a scam. And then I read 2 days later, Tom Hanks, they're saying, he's trying to track these people down and sue them because that's not a real video.
You're right. And
Yeah.
we're going to see more and more of that in the future,
Yeah.
Tony. What we're advising all of our clients to do, because we are really trying to stay on top of this and better prepare our clients for this, is when in doubt, call our office
Yeah.
and talk to us, and let us help with the research and help before you make any rational decisions,
Sure.
which are easy to do. So,
Especially when it comes to your money. And that's huge. Well, great show today. We covered a lot of concerns people have, and the way to address them is get a plan in place. How can our listeners, Brad, get a hold of you to set up that no charge, no obligation consultation?
absolutely. You can call us directly toll free, 888-390-5277. Again, that's 888-390-5277. Or visit our website, financialarmorshow.com, financialarmorshow.com, and reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to sit down with you over coffee or Zoom or even a telephone visit. And then, as always, which I love and encourage, continue sending those questions that you have, and we're more than happy and excited to answer those.
All right. Well, Brad, that sounds fantastic.
Yes.
Again, listeners, pick up the phone, give Brad and his team a call there, 888-390-5277. And that does it for today's episode of the Financial Armor Show with our host, Brad Cooper.
Thank you, Tony.